Philly Tech Week presented by Comcast 2024 comes up May 3rd and May 11th. We're going to talk about how that's going to look with a new partnership today in an interview with Technical.ly. Hey, I'm Chris Wink. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Technical.ly. We're a news organization with a community of technologists and entrepreneurs. I also am one of the co-founders of a thing we call Philly Tech Week. That for the first 13 years or so, we at Technical.ly, a news organization with the lead organizers, always with an array of partners, always engaging a bunch of groups. But what has become increasingly clear is it needs a new stage of ownership, leadership, and that's why we were thrilled to announce just a few weeks ago that we're going to be bringing in One Philadelphia to lead the organization of Philly Tech Week presented by Comcast. So today, the goal is to talk a bit about what Philly Tech Week in 2014, what year is it? In 2024 will look on May 3rd to May 11th. To do that, I'm joined by One Philadelphia's executive director and co-founder, Danae Mobley. Danae, thank you for being here.
Chris, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Excited about the partnership.
I am also excited about the partnership. So, Danae, you have made hay with One Philadelphia in the last couple of years, but just for folks who aren't already caught up, can you give us the basics? What is One Philadelphia?
Yeah, so the quick rundown, what is One Philadelphia? We have a vision to make sure that Philadelphia is a national model and hub for equitable tech and innovation. So over the last few years, we've been building a coalition of organizations across the city, really bringing partners together to figure out how do we take all the exciting momentum in the city and really build a great vision for tech so that any underrepresented Philadelphian that wants to get into tech has an accessible entryway in, so that when we're looking back years from now, we can see all the progress that we've made in tech and innovation for the city.
I'm a long admirer of yours, Danae, and the work that you've done in an array of different efforts, including Coded by Kids and other efforts over the last 10 plus years. One Philadelphia on the newer of your initiatives, but it was very apparent to me that the next stage of what Philly Tech Week has gotten to needs a kind of partner like One Philadelphia. Anyone who knows me knows that I very much do not rely on comparisons to something like South by Southwest, which is an incredible tradition of the last 30 years, but something that I do think South by Southwest teaches. I think a lot of people misinterpret what those incredible organizers at South by Southwest have done, but a part of the story that I want more people to know is what became South by Southwest was started by a small community news organization. It was an alt-weeklies music festival, and that over years it brought together its sources. It was a natural convener, as I think news organizations are. But over time, to get to the next stage, it got its own entity, its own governance. It was seen it needed a new set of goals. And I think we're at a natural point now, and One Philadelphia seems like the natural leader to say, where do we go next? So today, dive in a bit more for me. Why is One Philadelphia interested in organizing Philly Tech Week? How does it fit to the One Philadelphia vision?
Right. So, our role as a convener, we're really trying to bring the community that you've built over these last, 13 years. You've built this community, you've built this great tradition. We need each other, and we're really happy to kind of come on board and be a part of growing that into the next phase and evolution of what it's going to be. Like I said, One Philadelphia, we're looking to bring the community into the larger community, into our existing tech community, show people that it's a space that they belong in, that it's an equitable space. And we know that signature events like this really highlight all the great things that are happening in the community. So we want to make sure that we are a part of that as a convener of the space.
So something that we Technical.ly, we report in a half dozen U.S. cities. I think this sort of work requires at least a national level of conversation, if not global. But you hit on something that I think we've long thought at Philly Tech Week, and I know friends and organizers in cities certainly around this country think about how you balance both wanting to bring folks from other communities, other cities, other regions in to a place like Philadelphia, while still making sure you make your own residents be able to benefit from the resources made available. Both are important. It's a tension that we at Technically always felt we would get questions on both sides of things. How is Philly Tech Week welcoming in people from outside of this region? How is Philly Tech Week making sure more people in this region benefit? It's one of the reasons why this path of working with another organization has made more and more sense to us. We at Technically, we're going to burrow deeper into the core events that we contribute to Philly Tech Week. We organize and will organize on May 9th, our annual reader conference. We'll have people from outside across all our markets join us for our summit. I'm kind of curious, before we get into the community calendar, I'm just kind of curious, what is how do you hope to balance serving people in Philadelphia along with bringing people from outside? You and I have talked about this through the years of how we do both, but balance the priorities.
Yeah, I think you've always done a really good job curating that community calendar to provide that balance. You have great events like the kickoff that are really public facing. They're accessible. Anyone can just walk up off the street, right? If you were in Dilworth or you were there, when we were at the Sears Center at the Oval, there are tons of ways that people can just kind of happen upon different Philly Tech Week events. And then there's also really intentional things that we're doing to try to reach audiences that don't always see a spot for themselves in Philly Tech Week, trying to really reach out to anchor organizations and where we can help support them and help them build up their own events and things that they'd like to see. We want to make sure we can kind of strike that balance because like you said, we know it's important for both. But there are people that we do want them to see Philadelphia as a national player. So we're bringing them into the conversation as well, because they should also realize that there's so much potential and untapped talent in the Philadelphia region. So bringing them in to see our talent as well is something that's really important to us.
So yeah, let's touch on that terminology for those who will be watching this. Might be other organizers from other cities, but certainly community organizers in Philadelphia. This model has shown up in cities around the country now, so it's probably increasingly familiar. But we've always called it an open calendar of events, a community calendar, and what that has meant for us through the years is we at Technically were to organize a handful of some of the larger events, but then we would throw open the doors for relevant programming around technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation to be part of that curated calendar. And always the bet, and I think we proved it true, was that despite people being nervous that many events happening at the same time would shrink their attendee pools, on the whole, we found the opposite, that when a lot is taking place, more people get out of their houses, more people travel. You can visit more than one event. So we tended to find it was a raise all boats situation where shouting out louder kind of helped everyone. That's always been our experience. So what is on that community calendar in the past? And then, Danae, I'd love to hear what you think 2024 might look like in May. But in the past, that community calendar tended to have a mix of a handful of big conferences, big ticketed events that we partnered with and brought in, and lots of mid-sized and smaller events that were super open and accessible. In addition to, as you alluded to, we used to do big, large outdoor kickoffs where thousands of folks would come through, and this pandemic set them aside for a few years. So with that as a backdrop of what we were in the past, maybe share a little bit about how you're viewing Philly Tech Week 2024 coming up May 3rd to May 11th. What will Philly Tech Week 2024 look like?
Yeah, I think there's so much in that past that we don't want to lose and we just want to build on. So we're hoping to see a lot more of that come back. I think, like you said, frequency is really important for us. We want to see as many events as possible. Don't want to feel like, One Philadelphia Technically is trying to take over that calendar. We want people to throw in their events, throw in things that they think matter, might be, missing from the space. Also, scale is really important. Like you said, yes, the big conferences are really great for educational moments for people that want to learn more, already deep in technology. But a lot of those introductory events, the meetups, the networking, those are also crucial for us to start building more of that community here. And we also want to make sure we're introducing in some more intimate networking spaces, right? Because we know those are where those deep bonds are being built. We want to see different events at different scales for lots of different audiences. So everyone feels like there's something for them at Philly Tech Week this year. I must personally say I am really excited about the kickoff. I think we are going to return back to that larger kind of street festival vibe for our kickoff this year. So, of course, more to come on that. It'll be on Friday, May 3rd, but really looking to bring that fun back to kick off Philly Tech Week 24.
I'm thrilled to hear that. There are many things that we can ever get to that I suspect you as an individual and One Philadelphia as a team very much will be. So why don't we just give a little bit more of a sketch of Philly Tech Week presented by Comcast, May 3rd to May 11th. You started saying that May 3rd, likely a larger outdoor kickoff, which friends of Philly Tech Week will know for many years. We used to have thousands of people playing with interactive technologies in a public space. So if we have a kind of kickoff like that May 3rd that One Philadelphia will be leading on, give us a little bit of a picture of the rest of the week. I think, I hope I'm not spoiling, but something that I've heard you say that is exciting to me, because I think it's the natural progression, about maybe centering a lot of events in a single location each day. Is that true? Am I telling tales out of school? Sorry.
No, not tales at all. I mean, a lot of them will be hubs, around your event. You're creating some great momentum around the conferences. Monday, we're looking to really dig into workforce and thinking about young professionals and how we build that kind of next generation of work in Philadelphia. So we'll likely have a hub. I'm not going to say too much about it, but that will look like our venue for that day. Will then kick right into our meetup. We've been hosting those quarterly as One Philadelphia. This one should be the biggest yet with some cool partners. We're really going to focus on how Philadelphia is wired differently to really be an attractive place for young professionals. So excited to kick that off on Monday. I know you have the rest of the events on Tuesday, Wednesday, and I believe Thursday. Am I correct?
Yes. And so then let me share a bit about what we're hoping to contribute it technically, because I think, Danae, you flatter. We want to be a partner at Technical.ly, but what I know to be true is the incredible work that One Philadelphia is going to do is there will be a lot of groups engaged that we weren't always able to or didn't always get to, despite our best efforts to make it as accessible as we could. But so we at Technical.ly will host on that Tuesday, May 7th. We'll have our Network Tech Jobs Fair. We've done that in across cities for many years. Wasn't always part of Philly Tech Week, but that'll be part of May 7th. Weird macroeconomic moment, so we think actually it's well timed to have our Tech Jobs Fair network on Tuesday, May 7th. I think we can say that we'll be doing that at Launchpad's new locations on Market Street right in Center City near Jefferson Station. Friends at Launchpad, shout outs. On Wednesday, May 8th, we'll be hosting our developers conference. We did the rough math of at last year's developers conference. We had almost 7% of all of the software engineers in Philadelphia were at one place at one time, which was a kind of fun thing to do. So maybe we can beat that this year. May 8th, we'll be at the Comcast Technology Center for the developers conference. And then, we at Technical.ly will contribute on Thursday, May 9th, our builders conference, where we'll bring together our readers and sources and friends from across our markets. We had 25 states represented last year. 500 plus people come to the Fitler Club between our conference in the day and then our evening closing signature event, which longtime friends will know every Philly Tech Week for now 14 years running. There was a closing signature event that included interactive technologies, robots, video games, plus a couple of drinks. So that's what we at Technical.ly will contribute. And as always, there will be 30, 40 events happening across the week, across the city for folks to engage with. So, Danae, did I overlook anything that you're contributing? Well, lots for one.
No, I mean, that signature event is always a great exclamation point on the week. I think we'll then also be thinking about Friday, kind of to finish off that week, thinking about a town hall kind of recap and reflection of the week, because what we want to see with all these things happening and the momentum in Philadelphia, we want to come out at the end of the week and say, what did we learn? How can we grow? And what's going to look different, next year? So bringing together core partners and really just having a good dialogue about what's happening in the city and how we're going to move forward together.
Noted. Okay, let's turn to a couple questions of mechanics, because one of our real outcomes of having this conversation is to fill something we had technically used to do for many years, a help plan Philly Tech Week event. It was typically almost in the fall of the preceding year, where we'd really rally people to begin to think about how they'd want to design the week. So we want to move our many community organizers to come to arms again, May 3rd to May 11th. We already have many of you who are gathering events, and we're hoping to curate it. One Philadelphia is curating that calendar of events, which will be available at phillytechweek.com. So today, let's talk about what we want folks to do if they want to be part of the Philly Tech Week calendar. So what is your message to community organizers of events? What should they do? What should they be thinking about to join the Philly Tech Week calendar?
Yeah, so to join the Tech Week calendar, we made it as easy as possible. Go into the phillytechweek.com website. There you'll find the form where you can fill out to submit your event. Our team on the back end will be able to review that event, kind of turn around as quickly as possible, 3 days or less, to be able to say, yes, we're moving forward, we're ready to go. We have a nice new One Philadelphia and the Philly Tech Week calendar that's actually accessible. So you'll be able to see as things populate, you'll be able to go onto the platform and see everything that's there. So right at that top, you can go to the organizer guide, and it will have a link in there where you can submit the form, and then it will appear on the event calendar once it's approved.
Beautiful. I realized my screen share didn't follow me as I clicked along to there, but you saw in the top right, and that's the next step for community organizers. We want you submitting events. Cannot underscore enough from doing this for 14 years. Yes. The activity together does make us stronger. Folks aren't always believers, but really when we're coming together, the volume gets loud, and we all contribute something a bit different. We're coming up on our time. Want to shout out for folks. I'm seeing some stuff in the chatter. Thanks, Charnay, shouting out the website. We'll drop that out. But if folks have questions in the chat, that's certainly welcoming. But cannot underscore enough that the call to action here is. Actually, Danae, do we have our deadline for community calendar, folks? I honestly should know that.
I believe it is March 22nd, but hopefully someone will correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the deadline to submit is March 22nd. And I do want to emphasize for folks, if you feel like I'm 75% of the way there on an idea or an event, and I'm not sure how to really make it come to life, this is where we can help and support. Feel free to reach out, and we'll do our best to either connect you to resources and or maybe someone else that can help support you could partner with and go on an event. Let us know. We're here to help because we want to make it the best community calendar possible.
And I'll shout out through the years, we have many repeat contributors that really speak to the range here. Danae, you've heard from me before, but I've always been incredibly charmed by the Zion Baptist Church contributing a youth STEM fair that fits with their organizational strategy. We have advanced AI talks. Like, I can't underscore enough how much this event series has always had events ranging from youth engagement to absolute advanced, PhD research scientists talking about advances in any kind of emerging technology. Our developers conference will be heavily technical. There will be topics that will be more social. So this is meant to represent what technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation looks like in the country, but certainly Philadelphia's contribution to it. And thank you, Charnay, in the chat. You're doing great. March 26th is the date. So Danae, if people have questions about this, where should they go next? Is there a content field, just the website itself?
Yeah, they can send any questions that they have to Philly Tech Week at 1phl.org, and we'll be able to field questions there.
Incredible. So then I want to go out with a personal note. I've never actually asked you this.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. I wasn't prepared for this. Go ahead.
I know how much you put into this work. Why? Why is this work personally important to you?
I've been doing this work for a while, through Coded by Kids. I'm not a technologist by trade. I am actually an educator and an urban planner and a community planner. Some people don't know that by trade. And that allowed me to take a lot of time to be in Philadelphia neighborhoods, to see it from a vantage point that many people don't. And what I saw in that is so much we talk about Philadelphia as an edge, as an underdog. And I truly want to push back against that. We are not an edge, we are an epicenter. And anytime that I have the ability to showcase that through the talent of our young people, through the ingenuity of folks out here that are just trying to make the city better, I'm going to continue to do that. So for me, that is just my personal mission to make sure that we are always making sure that people see how amazing Philadelphia is.
Dang, that's beautiful. So you heard it. You can get questions over to Philly Tech Week at 1phl.org. The phillytechweek.com website is live with the opportunities to submit community calendar up until March 22nd. So that's when you want to get those in. For the wider world, can't say it enough, this calendar's always been wide-ranging. We want your social events, just gather around food tech. Like any topic that you want to gather, you should do it. Size will range, as Danae alluded to. We want the smaller meetups of friends who are intimate, and we'll have the large parties as well. That has always been a strength of this calendar. We put the pandemic behind us. We're here. The 14th annual Philly Tech Week presented by Comcast, May 3rd to May 11th, led by One Philadelphia. We at Technically are proud to contribute. We'll see you around, friends. Thanks, Danae.
Bye.
See everybody.